Hey everybody, my name is Brad Alexander and I am with the Alexander Home Team, Keller Williams. And folks, have you been paying attention to the real estate market? And it's really nationwide. So it's not Central Texas, it's not California, it's not Florida. Folks, the craziness is everywhere. But if you've been listening to all the ads on the radio, TV, I've been seeing it everywhere. The real estate market nationwide is absolutely crazy. It's nuts. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a little video on what is an appraisal waiver. Okay. So, your neighbor sold their house and, you had no intentions of selling your house this year, but then all of a sudden your neighbor sold their house for $50,000 above the asking price. And you're like, hey, honey, maybe we should consider this. And so those are the phone calls that I've been getting lately is, Brad, we really weren't thinking about selling, but man, if we're going to get a 2024, 2025 price in 2021, let's talk. Let's go have a cup of coffee. So your neighbor told you that they sold their house for $50,000 above the asking price, and the buyer signed this document called an appraisal waiver. So what is an appraisal waiver? And who can sign an appraisal waiver? You see, an appraisal waiver is a new document that the Texas Real Estate Commission brought out. God, folks, I think they brought it out about 3 years ago, maybe two and a half years ago. And for 2.5 years, we didn't ever use this appraisal waiver document. Okay. And there's some backstory to that, but it really doesn't matter. Basically, we had this document that said that if the house does not appraise, there are some options, and we can put that on ink. So instead of being on a handshake agreement, all right, Texas Real Estate Commission basically got us a addendum to the contract saying, if certain things happen, here's the way we're going to proceed. All right, so let's go over that. The appraisal waiver. So first of all, we have what we call a full waiver. All right, a full waiver means that the buyers are willing and able to pay over the appraisal value. So if the house is listed at $350, all right, house is listed at $350. House appraises at $375. House sells for $400,000. Trying to do this simple math, folks. All right. So we've got this house. It's for sale. It's listed at $350. Well, in the amount of time that it was listed, the appraiser noted that the value's gone up. And yes, it has gone up that fast. So the appraiser appraises it at $375. Well, the buyer has offered to buy it for $400,000. There's a $25,000 gap in there. We call it an appraisal gap. There's a gap between the appraisal value and the purchase value. That's $25,000. $400,000 minus $375. Folks, the asking price means nothing. All right, let's throw that number completely out the window. That number means absolutely nothing. So we have an appraisal price value of $375. We have a purchase price, a contract price of $400, $25,000. If we get a full appraisal waiver, that means that the buyer is saying that they are willing and able to make up the difference in cash, because the bank is only going to loan up to the appraisal amount, the $375. All right. So what have we been doing? The Alexander Home Team has been taking a couple extra steps. You see, when we get a buyer that says that they are able to make a full appraisal waiver, well, we ask the buyers to show us proof. Show us a bank statement that says you have $25,000 cash in an account in case this house does not appraise, or $30,000, whatever we need them to, whatever we think the house will appraise at versus what the contract price is at. So we do a little bit extra research to vet our buyers for the houses that we are selling. All right. So that's a full appraisal waiver. It means that the buyer is willing and able, that's the key word there, folks, and able to make up any difference. All right. And y'all have heard stories in certain spots to where, I mean, people are paying $100,000 to $200,000 above appraisal value. All right. And that has to be made up in cash. The second thing is a partial appraisal waiver. What that means is whenever the buyer submits an offer, the buyer will write up a contract saying we can make up $10,000 in a gap. So if the house is listed at $350,000, the house appraises, remember the list price means nothing. The house appraises at $360,000. Okay, so we're at $360,000 now, but the purchase price is at $380,000. Well, the buyer said they can make up $10,000 difference. All right, but there's a $20,000 gap. The seller is now going to have to come down by $10,000, or the contract is going to have to be voided and start all over. Folks, this is exactly the whole start all over. That's not fun, folks. So if you're going to submit or accept a partial appraisal gap, just make sure that you're doing your homework. Make sure that the data is there. You can do the your realtor, not you. You're paying your realtor for a reason. Make sure you let them educate you on it. But make sure that you do your homework on the front end. I don't like getting 30, 40 days into a deal and all of a sudden try to make sure you know everything that's going on before. So as I'm stumbling through that, folks, that's the whole reason why you hire the right realtor. All right, folks, right now, selling your house in 3 days, that's not the hard part. Right now, selling your house is not the hard part, folks. Selling your house for the most amount of money to the right buyer. You see, there's people out there that are manipulating cash offers to where it looks like on paper that it's cash, but it's really not. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. All right. So the value in a realtor today is make sure that you hire somebody. Yeah. Sorry, folks, but make sure you hire somebody that knows how to read the contracts and understands the appraisal waiver process so that you don't lose out on $25,000, $30,000 because your realtor did not do what was best for you and tell you the truth. All right. And maybe let this buyer walk, waiting on the right buyer so that we can get to the finish line at that price. Folks, I just saw a house the other day in a very prominent subdivision in our area where the realtor noted on the MLS that the house did not appraise, and the seller, yes, folks, the seller came down in price $25,000. Folks, that's crazy. What the realtor should have done is said, you know what, let's wait a little bit. Let's try to find a better buyer. All right. Let's try, and that's the way it is in this market. Now, if you're a buyer in this world, folks, I got a video for you coming soon because I've got a buyer's agent that is knocking it out of the block. He's been writing contracts that are phenomenal. So we'll be doing a video soon on the buyer side of all of this craziness. But right now on the seller side, if you want to make the most amount of money possible on your proceeds, make sure that you have a realtor that is willing to tell you the truth, educate you on the different parts of a waiver, the different types of financing, all those different things in the contract so that you can make the most amount of money possible in this crazy real estate market that we live in. So with that, folks, we're getting close to the 10-minute mark, and I don't like going past 10 minutes. So I need you to share this video, like this video, comment on this video, do everything you can to help keep this video going. And if you ever need any assistance, anything with real estate advice, just give us a call. We'll have a cup of coffee. No pressure on our end. That's 512-361-1568. Folks, my name is Brad Alexander with the Alexander Home Team, and I'm here to make your dreams a reality.